Hey, what's going on, y'all? Hope everyone's having a fabulous day. If you haven't gotten a chance to subscribe to this channel, please do so. I want you to ring that notification bell. That way, when I drop a video, you'll be notified. If you guys get a chance, go ahead and go in the description, click the links, go through some of my goodies. I got a book called Credit Anatomy. It's going to teach you how to build credit. There's a newsletter and 15 dispute letters that you'll get along with it. I created a Google Sheet that you'll be able to click on, like some of you that are thinking about, well, what's the best secure credit card to get for your situation? And what I did was I created a Google Sheet with a side-by-side comparison of all the secure credit cards that are mainly used by a lot of people. So if you want to see the difference between the Capital One and you Discover It, or the, let's say you want to go out and you want to get the Opensky, I try and put all the secure credit cards in there so that you can get an idea of the differences and the benefits of each secure credit card. Alright, so I want you guys to go in there, take a look in the description. I created a lot of stuff for you guys. I know a lot of times people just think that, there's not things in the description that's going to truly help you. But if you go in there, just take a look at it, and hopefully it helps you. But in this video, what I want to talk to you guys about is the opportunities that's coming ahead, and I want to talk to you guys about business credit as well. So it's going to be a little bit long video, but hopefully what I can do is just touch on a few things. And this is another Driving with Kenny video. And so I'm going to try and not ramble too much, but usually when I'm on a truck, it's hard for me to be specifics and, do a detailed dive into each topic because I don't have anything in front of me to, off notes. So I'm just going off my head. So first and foremost, I want you guys to understand that a lot of times people talk about inflation that's coming up ahead, and I don't see it that way. Like a lot of people, and they say, well, the money supply is increasing because the government is printing a whole bunch of money. But one thing that people are forgetting is the fact that the velocity of money, which is probably the key indicator of inflation. If you do not have velocity of currency, then chances are you're not going to have an inflationary period. It's kind of like the trucking industry right now. Though the government is printing a lot of money, I mean, we all can agree with that, there's still not a lot of goods being moved. So that printing of money is not going to affect the trucking industry because there's no products being moved. And that's the same thing with inflation. So in the near future, I'm not going to say within the next year or so, but in the near future, I do believe that we're going to go into a deflationary market in certain assets. I don't believe that food would be in a deflationary market, but I do believe housing and automobiles will be in a deflationary market. If you listen to what's going on right now and you start looking at the unemployment rate and those people that are without a job, there are certain pressures that are being put on people, and I know that there's a lot of programs out that's helping people, but the reality of the situation, just like the trucking industry doesn't have a lot of products being moved right now, that's the same thing for automobiles, and that's the same thing for housing. And at some point, those people that are trying to sell a house, like if you're trying to sell a house right now, you're going to have to price it below market just to sell it. And as foreclosures start hitting the market, just like in 2008, you're going to start seeing these situations happen in 2020, 22, somewhere around there, right? Between now and 2022, you're going to start seeing the housing market start taking a really deep dive. In the trucking industry, there's a lot of people that went out and got trucks, and right now, because the market is not in our favor, 2017, 2018, it really was in our favor. And what happened was 2017 and 2018, because truckers was making money hand over fist, A lot of people went out and bought trucks. And right now, those people that went out and bought truck that didn't have their credit together, didn't have their financing together, wasn't in the right position, they're being taken advantage of, and they can't withstand this market. You're seeing 90 cent a per mile freight on the market, and you're lucky for a dry van. I'm speaking. You're lucky to get $1.50 per mile. You're really lucky to get $1.50 in a lot of markets. And with that being said, there's a lot of people that can't make their truck notes, so they're turning their trucks into the dealerships, and these dealerships have more truck than they got space. And so what they're having to do is auction these trucks off at a really, really great rate. And there's a lot of people saying, man, you don't want to buy a truck right now because trucking is terrible. That's not how you look at business, okay? When the opportunity presents itself, it's usually not the market to be in. If you look at Warren Buffett, right? Most of you guys know he's a business investor, businessman, investor, however you want to mark, what title you want to put on him. Just the guru when it comes to valuating businesses and everything. So his mentality is invest when there's blood in the street. There was a lot of people that were shareholders of Berkshire Hathaway, his company, that would tell him he needs to put his cash into investments, and he would just keep hoarding cash. He had like $40 billion sitting on the sidelines just waiting to pounce on something, and he kept saying, I'm waiting on an elephant, I'm waiting on an elephant, I'm waiting for the opportunity to present itself. And people wonder, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why do you have all this money on the sideline? And he's like, I'm just waiting, I'm just waiting. And the market is going all-time highs every month. It seems like the market is hitting an all-time high. That is not when you want to be investing. When you want to be investing is when there's blood in the street. And right now in the trucking industry, there is blood in the street. So this is the time that you want to start picking up assets in the trucking industry. If you go and you YouTube any trucker right now that's on YouTube, it's kind of hilarious because we're starting to attack each other, and they're flip-flopping because I don't think people have a real good grasp on the market. And I'm not trying, if you're a trucker and you got a YouTube channel and you want to lash out at me, listen, I'm not going to give you the time of day. All right, you go do you, I'm going to do me. But I kind of chuckle when I look at these guys because, you got some truck drivers that are striking, shutting down freeways, and then you got some truckers that they will get on YouTube and tell you that you need to turn in your trucks and go become a company driver. You got it's all over the place. It's all over the place. Here's what it is. 2017, the market was great for truck drivers. We're getting like $4 a mile a load. We were taking advantage of the market. It was in a situation where you had tariffs. That's when Trump started passing the tariffs. And that's when they had this ELD mandate where we had these electronic logs where everybody was going to have to be on these logs, and nobody knew how that was going to affect the market. So you had a lot of shippers that said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and ship more product than need be. Like Costco's and the Walmarts and the Targets. We're just going to go ahead and stock our stores because we don't know how this is going to be affected. And we would rather have to store the product than, be without. And so what happened was you had a lot of product sitting on the market that needed to be moved. And so for every truck, you had, a choice between 10, 12 loads. And because of that, the brokers had to price it at a high rate to move their load. And we took advantage of the market, man. You're talking about $4 a mile. I remember I was going from Ohio to Louisiana, and man, $3.50, $4 a mile one way. And I mean, we were making money hand over fist. Didn't see any truck drivers complaining then. We just took advantage of the market. And that's usually what happened. And so what I'm trying to do is show you that there's going to come a point in time real shortly where you're going to start seeing housing take a deep dive. And you're going to have an opportunity where you're going to be able to 10x your money real easily. And to give you a really quick example of this is in 2008, right? What was happening, or pre-2008, like 2003 to 2008, you had a lot of people that were purchasing homes, and every 6 months they could sell a home for a profit, $30,000-$40,000 profit. And so they just kept doing this. And because of that, the housing market, the velocity of money, right? Remember I was talking about the velocity of money, was allowing the assets, the housing assets, to inflate. It wasn't the fact that money was cheap. Yeah, it was money that was cheap, but people were purchasing homes. So I had a $200,000 home. I sell it for $250,000 in 6 months, make about $30,000-$40,000 on it after fees, and then I go purchase another home for $250,000, and then I'm going to sell that one for $300,000. But every transaction, remember, when I sold my house, there was somebody buying it. When I bought a house, there was somebody selling it. So the velocity of money just allows products to be oversold and overbought. And over time, what happens as time goes on, the price of assets start to inflate into a bubble. And right now we're having a situation with, there's people that are going to be watching this video and they're going to be saying, you know what, Ken, I'm in a situation and I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep my home. And I want you to understand, I was on the other side of that, just like you are right now in 2015 when I had trucks in the oil field. Just completely wiped me out. 2015, I ended up filing bankruptcy 2017, and it completely wiped me out. And that's not a bad thing. And I know it feels like the end of the world for you because you do not understand or don't know what you're going to do next. But I want you to understand, on the other side of this storm is a rainbow, and you're going to have opportunities. And if you're able to withstand it, great. But there are going to be people that are going to take advantage of the situation. And don't look at them as, that's messed up or what have you. That's just the economic cycle. That's just what happens. And when you go through your situation, there's going to be somebody that if you lose your house to a foreclosure or something like that, the bank repossesses your house, and they're going to want to sell that asset for a lot cheaper than what you bought it at. You might have bought the house for $350,000. The bank repossesses the house. They're going to have to sell it for like $290,000, something like that. There's going to be somebody that's going to want to purchase that house. And as assets go down, that's when you want to start purchasing these assets. Now, to go back to what I was saying was, if you 2005, 2006, you bought a $400,000 house. In 2010, that $400,000 house became about $200,000. The market, they said, went to about 60%. So for numbers' sake, we're just going to keep it easy, and we're going to say 50%. So you got a $400,000 house, and you go ahead and you buy that $400,000 house in 2005, 2006, and it gets repossessed from the bank in 2008, 2010. It sells for $200,000. Somebody buys it at $200,000. When that house goes back up to natural value, let's say it goes back up to $400,000, you may look at that as a double, but the person that purchased that house just 10x their money. When they purchased the house, they didn't purchase the house cash. They leveraged their money. They purchased, probably, let's just say for easy numbers' sake, they put 10% down and they purchased the house for $20,000. So now the house is worth $400,000. They purchased that $200,000, put $20,000 out. They sell it 5 years later, right, the house is worth $400,000. They collected $200,000 after fees and everything. We'll just say the $20,000 is fees. So at that point, they just 10x their money. In 5 years, they 10x their money. A lot of times people are looking for doubles. Oh, you hear people talking about, oh, I got 10% in the stock market. I got, 12% in the stock market. This is how wealthy people really become wealthy, is by purchasing assets that 10x 5 to 10 years. That's why you hear a lot of them talking about purchasing businesses. When the economy is down, you're going to start seeing Warren Buffett start purchasing businesses at a really deep discount. And that's how you build wealth. And for the middle class, there is no asset that is going to help the middle class become wealthy and retire in a position of wealth more so than real estate. And I know every guru out there is going to tell you your home is not an asset. Every guru out there is going to tell you you don't need to purchase your home. Purchase where you can rent, like rent out to somebody else, and rent where you can stay, or whatever that stupid saying is. Listen, there's going to come an opportunity for you guys to build your wealth, right? For all of us to build our wealth just like the wealthy build theirs. And if you're getting your credit right and you're putting yourself in a position to where you can take advantage of these opportunities, like right now, if you're thinking about going into trucking like 3 years from now, right? Now's the time you want to purchase a truck, right? And it might not be 3 years from now, but let's say a year from now or a year and a half from now. If you purchased an asset right now, that asset is going to go up in value. A truck, if you purchased a truck right now, these trucks that are being sold, you got $50,000 trucks being sold for $10,000 on a regular. That's not, oh, I gotta find a diamond in the rough. No, you pretty much walk to a dealership, you could get a $50,000 truck for about $8,000, and $8,000 to $10,000 right now. That's just the cycle. There's so many people turning their trucks in, right? Because they can't withstand this market. You're having trucking businesses go out of business, and they're turning all those trucks in. And that's just the economic cycle. And there's not a lot of money being moved right now, even though the government is printing money. There's not a lot of money being moved right now. The velocity of money right now is at an all-time low. Probably you might have to go back to the 30s to see the lack of liquidity in the market right now. And there's very few businesses that are being put in a position to where they can keep the market afloat. You look at the stock market and you wonder, well, how's the stock market staying up? And that's just because a lot of these companies are doing stock buybacks. I'm not going to go into all that, but just understand, if you're looking at the stock market as an indicator of how our economy is doing, you're going to miss it. You're going to miss the boat entirely. Right now, the economy, the unemployment rate, everything is just really in a bad situation. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure that out. And so I want you guys to really stay true and really stay disciplined to your credit. And what does that mean right now? What does it mean to be disciplined? And those of you that have jobs, okay, those of you that have jobs, what I want you to do is two things. I want you to keep your utilization rates low, and I want you to keep your inquiries very, very low, right? And I want you to maximize your credit scores. You don't have to go out and apply for a bunch of credit. What you want to do is maximize the credit that you have right now. If you haven't called your credit company and got a limit increase, just call them up and ask them, hey, is it possible to get a limit increase? Is it possible to get a limit increase? And they may say, well, we're going to have to get a hard inquiry. I don't want a hard inquiry. I just want a limit increase. And keep your balances low. No, I got my job. Everything is fine. I just want a limit increase. That's it. And I want you guys to really put yourselves in a position where people are struggling and they're wondering, how am I going to put food on my table? Those of you that have your job and you're doing okay, this is the time that you really want to start buckling down, putting yourself in a position of being able to take advantage of the market. And don't be like these truck drivers on YouTube right now where they're crying that, the sky's falling. You don't want to be that person. You want to be the person in 2017, 2018, you knew, okay, at some point the music's it's gonna stop. And I don't want to be the one left standing, holding the needle. And that's just the reality of the situation. And if you're going through a situation financially and you do not know how you're going to come out of this, I sincerely apologize. I don't know what else I can tell you other than hang in there and use all the resources that the government is giving you to try and stay afloat. Anyways, I just wanted to reach out to you guys. I wanted you guys to really take note of what's going on in the economy around you. If you get an opportunity to pounce on a situation, then take it. All right. I hope you guys have a blessed day. I don't want to make this a long video. I just wanted to reach out to you guys to see, are you really truly put yourself in a situation that you're going to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that are right around the corner. And I'm telling you, they're going to be there, right? Some of you think that there's going to be inflation. You're going to miss it. You're going to miss this boat. All right? You guys have a blessed day. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.